And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land, a part of the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of Fans First Sports Network. I'm Ethan Greenberg. Alongside of me is my co-host, Mike Rasinski, and joining us, our football aficionado, Jacob, back from a long vacation there of sorts, right?
Yeah, sure. We can call it that.
A hiatus, right?
Well, football also went on a hiatus, so.
What are you talking about? Football never stops, right, Mike?
It doesn't. I like your shirt. Your new, it looks like a brand new shirt.
Yes, it is. Hey, look, we got decked out, Mike. When you only win once in a decade, even Ohio State, you're like, that's it. Yeah. We're ordering. We're loading up on gear here.
I guess we can't jinx it with the Cavs right now. It's still too soon. Too soon.
Absolutely too soon. It is absolutely too soon. So welcome on in, everybody. Appreciate y'all being here on this fine Thursday night. 2 weeks from tonight, about an hour from now, 2 weeks and an hour, we are going to be ready for Commissioner Goodell to come out to the podium, get his usual boos. He'll say, all right, let's hear it. Come on. And, he'll be out in Green Bay, Wisconsin, asking them to boo him, right? And then it's going to be time to finally get the misery underway or get the misery over. I don't know how you really want to say it, but I don't know about you guys. I'm done with draft season. I'm ready for it to be over.
I want to throw like a draft party. I want to have people over to the house. We're going to watch it because this is our Super Bowl. This is what we've been anticipating for the last, I was going to say 2 months since the Super Bowl got over with.
No, we've been anticipating it since like October.
Yeah, so about 6 or 7 months. So this is I'm gonna get pizza and wings and we're gonna go all out. This is big. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm jacked. I am definitely jacked for it. Can't wait. I'm gonna get to see Journey. And
that's right. Yeah.
So I'm pumped for that. If nothing else, at least we'll have some entertainment. I'm gonna try and get some instant reactions of the crowd when this pick comes out, because I got a feeling it's going to be a mixed bag. I really do.
Yeah, it will be. But then you've got the anticipation of, do we trade back up in the first round? What do we do? There's so much drama to the day. This is why I'm all in.
It's like Christmas morning. It is like Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Jacob, I know you have been thinking about it a lot here. And you have done, put in the time, you put in the work here. And so you put together a little mock draft here, and want to let you do your thing. So what do you think the Browns' biggest needs are as we head to the draft?
Easily quarterback. We have 2 on roster and then 1 on injured reserve. We don't talk about him.
Okay, so quarterback's a big one. Now, the question has been throughout the process, if Cam Ward is clearly the number 1 and he goes number 1, are any of the other quarterbacks close enough in value to be worthwhile at number 2 as we are going to take a look at your mock draft? How did you kind of think this one out or look at it?
Well, I did 2. We're gonna look at one. One of the ones I picked Shedeur Sanders, as I think he's the closest to as valuable as a quarterback as Cam Ward at number 2.
Okay.
But
we you went a different direction in this one that we're gonna pull up here.
Yeah, the other direction is that I don't think that there's a quarterback that could be worth. It's the only quarterback I would think about taking would be Shedeur, but
if Cam Ward is gone,
assuming Cam Ward is gone,
okay.
Shedeur's a mix there. Do you what's the upside, downside? A lot to think about there.
There is a lot. All right, and with that, let's take a look here at what you've got. So Jacob, at the second pick here, Cam Ward's going 1. What did you come up with here at number 2? The Browns pick is in. So Jacob, with the second pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select
Abdul Carter, edge rusher, Penn State.
All right. So they seem to have gone full circle because Abdul Carter was the talk of the town for a little while there. And then at the draft combine, they talked about this stress reaction in his foot. And there was this shoulder injury that he was recovering from, still from the football from the season. He had an injury during, I think, the CFP. Are you at all concerned? Would you be concerned about his health for the Browns or anybody taking him that high in the draft?
Definitely. I think that is my main concern and the main hesitation on taking him. But he should be able to recover as
Okay.
the time.
Okay, so you think that he's not you don't think that it's going to be a trend that he'll be injury prone, or would that, again, I guess, would that be your biggest concern of anything? Not a matter of, okay,
Yeah.
is he going to fit? Is he really going to be a good NFL player? You're mostly concerned, like, I don't know if the guy can stay healthy.
Yeah, that would be my biggest concern
Right.
for Abdul.
Okay, and you look at the rest of the, did you find it odd, as this is a computer simulation that does this, the Giants, with Shador still on the board, they go Armand Membu from Missouri.
Well, they need offensive line help, and they have Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson.
Okay, so they have nobody. I mean, it's better than Kenny Pickett, but it's not much better.
No.
It is not much better. Will Campbell, and in fact, I'm kind of surprised that the simulation went Will Campbell, Membu over Will Campbell, because I've really heard mostly about Will Campbell being one of the top offensive tackles. Does that surprise you?
I've heard no, I've heard that Membu and Campbell are like right next to each other.
Okay.
Have you are you guys familiar with the Athletics? They call it the Beast.
Actually, yes, we are. And in fact, I just sent that to Jacob. And he complained. He was very angry with me because it's a how many page document? A
513 page document.
Well, if you just get the highlights of it, which is probably one page, which is what I have pulled up here. Yeah, they have Campbell ranked as the number 6 prospect and Membu is number 7. So I guess it is, according to them, which they call the Bible of the draft here, they are fairly close.
Yes. And I did end up using that for scouting.
I appreciate that. Is good. That is fantastic. But yes, I do have the Beast pulled up here on one of my screens. All right. So in this instance, kind of interesting. So Travis Hunter, then he lasts all the way to 5 to go to the Jaguars. That's pretty big that he lasts to that spot. Mason Graham to the Raiders. Shador goes to the Jets. Now that would be kind of surprising. Again, I know this is a computer simulation, but they just signed Justin Fields to a contract. So I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Well, who knows? It's a computer, but if I were to rationalize it,
is it computer unintelligence?
Maybe.
Artificial
but if
stupidity?
I were to rationalize it, it's I don't know. I can't think of anything. I was gonna say because Fields is on a multi-year deal. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yes, he is. He's
maybe the computer is actually really good at simulating how bad the Jets are at picking.
Woody Johnson.
Yeah. So
maybe Woody Johnson. Wasn't there that whole thing about Woody Johnson looking at Madden ratings?
I think that was one of his maybe a child, one of his children, some kind of a joke about the Madden ratings. Yes, you have a good memory there. Just looking here to see anything else that's really stands out. So if you do that, you've got Ward, Sanders. Did any other quarterbacks get picked in this first round mock draft of yours? And I am seeing nothing. And I'm kind of surprised.
So does that mean you would go quarterback with pick 1 of the second round?
Well, let's find out, Mike. Let's find out, Mike.
Good transition.
It is very good. And the Browns are back on the clock. You've got a lot of time to think about this. It's Friday now. It's Friday night as they stride to the podium with the 33rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Cleveland Browns select
Jackson Dart, QB, Ole Miss.
All right. The big knocks on Jackson Dart have been that he comes from a simplistic style of offense. He doesn't have to make multiple reads. Is that a concern for you in his ability to transition from the college game to the pro game?
That is a concern, but in the second round, where Jackson Dart, he's probably not going to fall to you anywhere deeper. There, he is most definitely gone within these next couple of picks if you don't pick him
Quarterback needy
now.
teams. To quarterback needy teams.
Yes.
And you've got Jalen Milroe going to the Giants. Now, they're, like you said, they do have Winston and Russell. Is Milroe more of a project than Jackson Dart?
I would say they both have their strengths and weaknesses that could both be improved as a project.
Okay.
So I think they're about the same, just different skill sets.
Is this the time when we should bring out the Beast quarterback rankings?
I would love to. What do we have here in the Beast quarterback? Now, Mike, if I've got it pulled up, you tell me what you got as well, if you would like to go for it.
Yeah, sure. So Cam Ward is ranked top quarterback, but ranked number 13 overall.
Okay.
Shedeur Sanders is the second quarterback, ranked number 34 top prospect. Right. Then you have Jackson Dart, number 3 quarterback, but he's ranked number 49 overall. And then you got Tyler, am I saying it right? Shock, ranked number 50. So just one spot behind Dart. And then you've got Milroe as a number 5 quarterback, but ranked number 73.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a big drop according to just this one site. So it's interesting how they rank those. You obviously have, I would say, Cam Ward 1, and then there seems to be that second tier, according to this, of Sanders, Dart, and Shock.
Yes, and we'd all be saying something other than Shuck if we drafted him.
Yes,
and it would not, and it would start with another letter.
Duck.
But, yes. I said, duck, because someone's going to get something thrown at them, I assume.
Yeah.
And then it looks like in this mock draft simulation, the second round, there is a run on the running backs. Look at this class that they've got here. What do we have? 47, Trevion Henderson to the Cardinals. 50, Quinshon Judkins to the Texans. 55, Caleb Johnson to the Chargers. These are huge pickups. And Omarion Hampton to the Raiders. So, I mean, wow, that's a lot of running back talent off the board in a deep running back class. Jacob, will the Browns be able to address that later?
Who knows?
Who knows? Shall we go to the third round?
I think we shall.
All right. Here we are. We're still huffing and puffing. I'm tired on a Friday night. Are the Cavs on right now? Because I think the Cavs playoff game might be on that Friday night. Let's see what we got. Oh, we are up to pick number 67, and the Browns are on the clock. The pick is in. With the 67th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select
TJ Sanders, defensive tackle, South Carolina.
So we got a Gamecock. What do we know about this guy? What do you got? What's the intel on Sanders, Jacob?
So the Browns need a defensive tackle, as I think after quarterback, their second most needed position.
Okay.
As it is filled with Mike Hall and a bunch of veterans, some of which are not returning.
Right.
And we need to get young at that position, and TJ Sanders paired with Mike Hall, I think, would be great up the middle. And I believe he can also help improve stopping the run game.
Okay, a big run stuffer there. He's gonna eat a lot of pancakes, right?
Yep.
Okay, all right. I just want to check on that. Now let's look at some of the other players that go around them. At 66, JT Tuimoloau of Ohio State gets ripped away from us by the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, I like me some JTT. What's going on here? This is terrible. What is Andrew Berry doing? He's asleep at the wheel. Oh, no, we could have had another Denzel in our defensive backfield. Denzel Burke's still on the board at that point, and now he's gone. Oh, come on, man. You know that Andrew Berry loves him some defensive backs.
Yeah, but that's more of a later round pick, just
Boo.
like
Boo. This is terrible. That is it. You are fired. And oh no. We need tight ends, don't we? And the Jets just took Harold Fannin at 73. Come on, dude. All right, that's it. We've got another try. The Browns are back on the clock. It is the 94th pick. And with the 94th and another disappointing spot here for the Browns, the 94th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select
Emory Jones, tackle, LSU.
All right, does he play three positions? Does he play guard, center, and tackle?
No, he does not. He plays tackle.
Oh, okay. All right, what can you tell us about Emory Jones?
I think he's a solid tackle, and we are trying to find someone to replace Will. And what I think Emory Jones, he will as soon as he's drafted as a rookie, he will probably serve for the first maybe 1-2 seasons as a backup to the aging and injury prone Jack Conklin.
Okay, so you're counting on DeJuan Jones staying healthy this season and hopefully being a cornerstone at the left tackle position. Is that the basic assumption?
That is the hopeful.
That is hopeful. Okay. All right. So what have we addressed so far? We've got a D tackle, an O tackle, a quarterback, and an edge in this mock draft. Okay. Let's see. Now, is that is the last pick or no, you've got another
We have one more, fourth round. We have one more fourth
Let's go one more. All right. We move to the next round, and the Browns are back on the clock here. At this point, it's Saturday afternoon, and we are tired.
No pizza and chicken wings for Saturday.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I've got indigestion by then. Right after the Titans get Tyler Shuck to join their quarterback room of Will Levis and Cam Ward, they take Tyler Shuck. And with the 104th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select
Xavier Restrepo, wide receiver, Miami, Florida.
All right. I've seen some good things about him. What are the positives, negatives about Xavier Restrepo?
He is a good slot receiver, and the Browns are in need of a slot receiver. He also has an added bonus of having kick/punt return experience.
Okay, that is fair. I'm looking on the board here. Jack Sawyer goes 109 to the Bills, but I guess if we've gotten Abdul Carter, we're going to be pretty happy there. I mean, sheesh. I'm trying to look and see who some of these other guys are. Quinn Ewers to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Doesn't really move me much. Will Howard to the Colts. Now that's going to be Will Howard and Danny Dimes and Anthony Richardson.
Incredible QB battle.
It should be. It really should be. Yeah, I don't know. And Dylan Gabriel to the 49ers. They like short quarterbacks there?
Guess so.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Anybody else? I'm looking at this mock to see if there was anybody that was still around or went that you're like, wow, that's a steal, or we missed out on that guy. And I gotta say, I don't recognize a lot of these names per se as I look through these. So now we've got a little bit of offense, got a little bit of defense. Jacob, did we go any further here, or was the four? Did you go all the way?
We did the 5th round, but we don't have a pick in the 5th round.
Okay, you went 5, but the Browns do not have a pick. Taking a look at the 5th round here, I mean, these guys, these are diamonds in the rough. Riley Leonard also goes to the Giants. So are they in this mock? That's interesting. I think they've got a couple of quarterbacks. They got Milroe and Riley Leonard.
Yep.
That's going to be a very busy quarterback room.
Yeah, and so they have Russell Wilson,
Jameis Winston, Milroe,
Jalen Milroe,
and Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard, and Tommy Cutlets.
I think Tommy Cutlets is going to be a camp arm, and then he's going to be taking his cutlery service elsewhere.
Probably to the
Probably.
Browns. All right, Mike. He's won a few games. He's got to be better than what we've got, right?
That's true. So of all the picks we have, how many are going to be starters next year?
Starters, Abdul Carter and potentially Dart, and then probably TJ Sanders.
Okay. So
we're going to win next year on defense then.
Yes, probably.
Huh. Okay, and that's one way of going about it. Okay, they went through this and they talked about if the best, whatever the best defense in the league was, maybe they allowed 17 points a game, and they went through to figure out how many games the Browns would have won if they had scored just 17 points a game. And I haven't looked at it, but I think they said maybe it was like 4 or 5 games. I mean, that's how bad the offense was. So the question is, will they do enough to improve the offense simply by reverting to the quote unquote Stefanski offense and having a different person at the helm under center?
I mean, it's hard. You can't do much worse, I guess.
I mean, we went from last year's offense to this year's offense, and anything's possible.
That is true. And we got rid of Andy Dickerson. So
that's good. That's always good.
It is. That is always good. So, it's all very interesting. All these simulations and what they have here. I mean, but so Jacob, let me just ask you this as we kind of went at it at the outset. But, do you think that at the end of the day, if you don't have a quarterback who can distribute the ball and operate the offense, that your defense is going to be tired because the offense is so inept?
Yeah, I think that's why we need a quarterback in this draft. Because unless we're trading for Kirk, who I'm unsure about after his performance in Atlanta last year, unless we're trading for him, then Pickett's not going to do.
Right. Pickett is. I would be in complete agreement that Pickett's not necessarily going to be the guy to take us to the Super Bowl. And the Kirk Cousins thing, that'll be a matter of, I don't think you trade any assets for him. And it's a matter of them waiting and hoping that he gets released from Atlanta. But he wants to see what the draft is going to look like because he doesn't want to get Penixed again.
Yeah, that was crazy last year. And it kind of benefited Atlanta, but yeah, I think it kind of, and they got Penix, and he doesn't, from what we've seen, he doesn't look horrible.
Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking there, but I know
but then you're also paying Kirk Cousins all this money to be a bench warmer.
Right, exactly. It's not a great situation. And so that's where I would hope that there is the possibility, like Mike, you said, of the Browns taking a pick, taking a good player or two or whatever it is, and then trading back in to get the quarterback in the first round. Todd McShay, he did a draft. He put something out today, a mock draft, where he said, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but he had a mock with the Browns drafting Hunter at 2, and then at 15, coming back in at 15, and getting Shador.
Ooh, what did they have to give up for that?
They gave up. Did they give up 33 and 67? And or something like that. I forget exactly what the terms were that McShay came up with. No, and it couldn't have been the Saints. It was with the Falcons. I apologize. I think it was with the Falcons they traded to make that happen. I don't know. I would see that as not bad. As long as we don't trade up and take a quarterback at 22, I'll be okay. Because I know that pick 22 is cursed. Do you know which quarterbacks we have gone back into the first round to get at 22? Mike?
Is it Manziel?
That is one.
Whedon?
That is two.
There's a third?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, there is. Before Whedon.
Before Whedon at 22. I don't know, Jacob. What do you think?
We had a very high draft pick that year, someone who just got in the Hall of Fame. So if that gives you a clue of the year.
The quarterback got in the Hall of Fame?
No, we had a high draft pick that year.
Mm-hmm.
That player is in the Hall of Fame. Or just
Thomas? That's Joe Thomas.
That is correct. In that same draft class, we also got a Golden Domer.
Brady Quinn? He was the guy with the monster guns with the huge arms?
Yeah.
I think his arms got too big to throw a football?
Yes. And he screwed himself because he and his agent were fighting about money or something and didn't come in, and he got beat out that year. I mean, he lost the opportunity because he messed around. Then he found out, and I don't know if he would have developed into anything great, but that certainly didn't help the cause.
Yeah.
So he had this great career at Notre Dame and fizzled in the NFL. So as long as it's not at 22, I'll be happy.
Who's got the current 22nd pick? Who do we not need to trade with?
The Chargers, but you know who has 21?
Is it the Steelers?
It is.
So we'd have to go 20 then to jump them.
Bingo. That is exactly right. So basically the question is if the quarterbacks, let's say Sanders starts sliding, if he doesn't get taken in the top 3, the next possibilities, Vegas, but they just got Geno Smith. The Jets, which in this mock, that's who takes him. They just got Fields, though. I mean, it's possible, but not likely. They're paying guys. And then the Saints would be the next likeliest spot. But if it gets past 9 and the Saints, he's going to start sliding. And the question is, who would trade up to get him, or who's willing to sit there and take him? And the next logical choice would be the Steelers.
Now, if the Steelers sign Aaron Rodgers, does that change their calculus at all? It
may change it, although Rodgers is a short-term solution.
Mm-hmm.
He's very old.
He's old and he's whatever. But you bring in Sanders, then you don't have to start him right away. Although if you're saying if our window is now, we can get a great player at 21 to win now. Why are we going to wait? Why are we going to spend a year or spend a top pick on a guy who's not going to play? It's quite a pickle. It's kind of like when the Packers drafted Jordan Love, they didn't need a quarterback at the time, and it ruffled a lot of feathers, and he sat there for a while. But
they have a system there. You know, you had Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Favre for a couple of years. Rodgers had a great career, still is going. Then you draft Love behind, and he sits behind Rodgers. Love ain't doing too bad. He's taken him to the playoff past 2 years. Right.
Exactly. They've got they do have a pretty good system there. I will say that. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see how all of this shakes out.
So just to play this out a little bit though. So if the Steelers don't draft Sanders, he could
Okay.
potentially then just fall to the second round, and the Browns don't have to give up any assets to get him.
Right. It's possible, although they'd have to be in that situation where they've got to really know their draft board and they've got to know if anybody else is going to jump them, knowing that the Browns are picking at 33.
Yep. And then, so really what you're saying is we need to root for the Steelers to sign Rodgers.
Yes.
Scenario
Yes.
happen.
Yes. I definitely. I would wholeheartedly root for that, because as we talked about with Matt Fontana the other week, that might ruin their locker room more than it already is. I would be very much in favor of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got Rodgers, DK Metcalf, George Pickens.
That is, oh boy. And then,
disaster.
Did you see the post from TJ Watt?
And you got Watt.
He's like doing like a peace sign, walking off the field in his Pittsburgh uniform, doing the peace sign. So is he unhappy? Is he ticked that he didn't get the giant contract like Myles Garrett? Is he going to want that, or what's the deal there?
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see how this all plays out. Silly season continues, and I just want it to be over with, though, to be quite frank.
I can't wait for it to get here. I'm excited.
All right, Mike. You know what? That's it. No, I gotcha. All right. Well, Jacob, I appreciate you coming on, providing us with the this mock draft and this tidbit of discussion here. I should say before we end our Browns segment, I was going to ask, do you think, in as crazy as this all is, should the NFL draft be sponsored by Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus?
But
okay. And then, did you see that? So the House budget in Ohio passed the other night, including the $600 million bond for the Brook Park Stadium. Then you got this jackalope, Bill DeMora, an Ohio senator who proposed a bill that would, did you see this, Mike? Require a team to have a winning record in 3 of the 5 past seasons to get taxpayer funding.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, yes. Gateway doesn't happen.
Well, let's just make it for the Browns exclusively.
You're ridiculous. I mean, what is wrong with lawmakers in Ohio? We had the clown who's like, it's going to be a crime if you plant a flag in an opponent's field. Yeah, if I won't win it, I'm going to tie your funding to whether you're winning or not. What?
Yes. Well, I mean, if you're winning, you should generate more money, right? More fan interest, more people come to the games, and
they've already. I mean, I think their tickets are sold one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's just one of. But I'm just like, what is the lunacy here?
I love it.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, Jacob. Well, thank you. You are off the hot seat. Appreciate your time coming in and joining us here this evening, and I'm sure we'll have some more Browns talk here in the coming weeks.
Of course.
All right. Thank you, Jacob. And while Jacob departs here, we are going to take a moment to pause to thank our sponsors. You are tuned into to Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land here on the Fanatical Elves Network, a part of Fans First Sports Network. And welcome back, everybody, to Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land. Ethan Greenberg here, and alongside of me is Mike Rasinski. Well, we just had a lot of silly talk about the Browns here, but, now we can actually turn back to our good franchises. And one of those teams, well, they locked up the number 1 seed on Sunday.
Fourth time ever. Yeah, fourth time ever.
Yeah, let's talk a little Cavaliers here. I mean, first of all, did you watch the game against the Bulls? Were you as frustrated as I was at times?
To let them, have that 27-point lead, let them chip away. It seemed like in 3 minutes they got it down to like 8 points or something like that.
They gave up a 16-0 run.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing out there? I mean, I understand. Okay, Mitchell wasn't playing, but 4 of their starters were not playing. Vukovic, White, Herter, and Giddey all sat out because they knew that that last night's game in Miami was more important than the game against the Cavs as it pertains to where they're going to sit in the standings for the play-in tournament. And I mean, I saw that, Garland certainly stepped up, which is great. He needs to get himself on track. Their shooting has been terrible, essentially, or his has. It's been lacking since the All-Star break. So is Mitchell's, for that matter. But this irks me, and maybe I'm overreacting. So you tell me, Mike, because I'm the king of overreactions, possibly.
Okay, I'll try to bring. I'll just play the other side here.
Okay.
So they got up by 27. So
okay.
Obviously they had the talent to do what they should do and just blow out the Bulls, and then they just got lazy. But I think a lot of teams in that situation would also get lazy and maybe let a lesser team come back to. I don't think it's unique to the Cavs.
Okay.
I think a lot of teams that might have happened to. And then when that did happen, they locked it back up and, won by double digits. So they were able to turn it back on again.
Okay. But how problematic is it that teams do that? We see it, and I don't get it. I just don't understand that mentality of teams not having a killer instinct.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's teams not having killer instincts or players too, because it does seem like Mitchell has that more than some of the other guys on the team, and with him out, maybe they were missing that. You can name the players that have it. LeBron's got it. Steph Curry's got it. There's some other ones too, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's just human nature that when you're up, that much, you kind of relax a little bit and you want to take it easy and think you're going to, because the game was easy up to this point, you just assume it's going to be easy until the end, essentially.
Well, right. I mean, do they not understand the people on the other side of the floor, the people you're up against? They're professionals too, and they're not going to roll over and die.
Yeah, I think it's just human nature. That's like probably what all of us would do in that situation.
I guess so. I mean, it's like the Browns when they were, back in like 2000, I don't know, 3 or whatever it was, or if, when they're beating the Bears in Chicago by like 13 points with barely any time left, and then they end up losing the game, getting it tied up and losing overtime, or the Browns against the Jets. I mean, I can't fathom these things. It's improbable.
Yeah. I guess that's where maybe coaching gets involved too,
Yeah, I mean, I like that Kenny Atkinson generally will call timeouts pretty swiftly if he starts to see things turning sideways. But the guys, again, the careless turnovers, bad shots. I'm just hoping that this is one of those things where once we get to the playoffs, they don't have to worry. First of all, I assume most games are going to be close anyway, right? Yeah. They're not going to have an opportunity to let their foot off the gas. But I am certainly hoping that they can get themselves in the right frame of mind to not have these letdowns, because all these other teams, these players are good. They're in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess you fall into those like trap games or trap series too, because everybody's talking about how great the Boston Cleveland series is going to be, but you got to get there first.
Right. I mean, talk about that. I mean, what about when the Cavs in LeBron's first stint, they were talking about, oh man, it's going to be the Cavs and the Lakers in the final. It's going to be Kobe and LeBron. And then we pooped the bed against Orlando and got, Mike Brown got out coached by Stan Van Gundy so bad. It was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like, so in the first round, we're either going to get the Magic, Hawks, Bulls, or Heat. And all but the Bulls have beaten us already. So, that they're not going to roll over. And then potentially in the second round, we would have the Pacers, who are playing right now. We've only played them twice, and we play them 2 more times, but these next 2 games don't matter. So really, we don't have a good sense on them. And they beat us once this year too.
Right. As we talked about with Tim Alcorn, that, and again, anybody who's watching today, if you didn't hear our show or see our show with Tim Alcorn, radio voice of the Cavaliers, we had a great discussion talking about these potential playoff scenarios. So, Mike, I actually did go on and find on the from the NBA communications, some of the things about games tonight. So if New York beats Detroit, it says New York is locked into the 3rd seed. Then an Indiana win tonight, they lock the 4th seed, or with a Milwaukee loss, they would lock the 4th seed. Milwaukee locked into the 5th seed with a win and an Indiana win. Detroit in the 6th with a Milwaukee win. So a bunch of things going on here. If Detroit defeats New York locked into the 3rd seed with an Indiana. So if Detroit beats New York and Indiana loses, New York's locked into the 3rd seed. Indiana would be locked into the 4th with a loss and a Milwaukee loss. It's a whole bunch of nonsense there, but it seems as if we're going to be talking about Milwaukee and Indiana as the 4-5. And potentially would be a 2nd round matchup for the Cavs. I don't know who would be the tougher opponent, because obviously Giannis is Giannis. We don't know. I don't know that Dame Lillard is going to be back, but Giannis is Giannis. And then the Pacers have given us trouble. I mean, we're not going to assume that the Cavs are going to win their 1st round series or jump them, but if hypothetically they had to go to the 2nd round, who would you rather face, Milwaukee or Indiana?
Oh man, that is a really tough one, I think, because you have this really, the superstar, former 2-time league MVP in Giannis, and we just talked about having a clutch player on your team, which he is, but the Pacers are just scrappy and they play physical, and we don't match up well with physical teams. So that worries me too. And I believe so. We beat the Bucks all 3 times we played them this year.
Very
but
close
scores. They were close too. So none were blowouts. I'm really happy that we're going to have home court advantage.
Yes,
that's going to be a huge difference maker.
It is. So. It is absolutely going to be a difference maker. This is not, I mean, I hate to sound cliche, this is not LeBron's Cavs, where you could just stroll into the playoffs and be like, we don't have home court. You think that worries us? Nah, we're good. Oh, Toronto. Oh, you think you're good because you're the 1 seed? Nah. Oh, Atlanta, you're the number 1 seed? Nah. Yeah, we'll take care of that. But you know what's interesting tonight, Mike, as I'm looking at the score right now, at least, and I don't know on your end, I might be behind looking, but I see it's tied at 32 in the 2nd quarter with the Pacers. The Cavs are. The Pacers are playing their guys. They've got Siakam, Aaron Nesmith, Miles Turner, Nembhard, and Tyrese Halliburton. They aren't resting any guys. We've got 4 of our 5 starters out.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows that's our strength is our bench and just the depth of our rotation right now too. So I love it. I love that they're competing hard. I mean, we'll see if they get tired out in the 2nd half, but man, our bench is underrated, I think, even for how good they have been. And
they have
proving it.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Odd man out in the playoffs. I think we talked about this a little bit before, but I'd like to just touch on it again. I've got some thoughts here, but after the starting 5 of, let's assume it's going to be Strus, Mobley, Allen, Mitchell, and Garland. Then who are your next bench players are going to be? I mean, I think you and I would agree. It's going to be Jerome and Hunter.
Yep.
Okay, who's 8th man?
Well, so you've got so I like Dean Wade.
Right.
Okay. I would probably pencil him in there. Then I would go with Okoro.
Okay.
And then I would go with Merrill.
Okay. Can we hide Sam Merrill's shoes?
Yeah. So you're not a Merrill fan in this case.
His defense is a liability.
Yeah. And honestly, his offense has not been phenomenal this year either.
He's 1 of 4 tonight, from 3. He's taken 4 shots, all from 3-point land. He's 1 of 4. That's not good enough. that's not a reason enough to keep you on the floor when you're a defensive liability like that. I want you to hide his shoes, and when we get to it, they can hide his shoes along with Bo Naylor's cleats.
What do you have against Bo Naylor?
Oh, we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay, so with Merrill though, so who would you put in front of him? If we go with Wade Okoro, would you put somebody in front of him before you'd go to Merrill?
I would actually put like maybe Javonte Green.
Okay.
I want a guy who can play defense. I want defense.
Yeah. Defense travels, yeah.
I'd rather have Craig Porter.
Really? I don't know about that. Porter makes some poor decisions.
If we get to that point, I would say that it would be Wade would be my 8 guy, right?
Okay. Yep.
Wade or Okoro. And I would say Wade more likely the 8, then Okoro. You're at 9 players deep. If you get to that point, I mean, you're clearing the bench. I'm hoping we're either kicking butt or getting our butts kicked. Well, I'm not hoping that, but that's the likely story. But I like Javonte Green's defense. Craig Porter has some offense. He makes some mistakes. He's not the best, but I like his effort. So I would take any of those guys. You're going to listen to all the things I would rather take than another offensive series or defensive play by Sam Merrill.
You know what? You say this. Watch him go into game 1 of the playoffs and hit like 5 of 6 3-pointers.
I know, and then I'll. But I sit there and I just shake my head when I see that guy on the floor. It's really bad.
He is streaky though. He is streaky. If he gets on a hot streak, that's fun to watch.
It is, but I just don't know how long you can play him.
Yeah.
I just don't know how long you can play that guy. Now here's the deal. We've got tonight's game. We've got the game against New York, and then the finale against Indiana. Rest versus rust, Mike.
I think at this point, probably rest. They've proven themselves in the season. You know, it does, I don't know, worry me a little bit, but they're going to be, even after the regular season ends, they're going to be sitting for another week because they don't have to do the play-in, which is great. But now you're talking about a week and a half, 2 weeks off before the first playoff game. So I don't know, maybe in that last Indiana game, you at least let them play a half.
Yeah, I think so. I think that it's kind of like the NFL preseason garbage where you're like, a little bit, to get them in. This isn't even getting in shape. This is just keeping their mind right. You don't want to risk injury, but you want to play them just enough so that they're in rhythm as they sit there for the next week. They can heal up. I mean, certainly they've got their bumps and they've got their bruises. But as you said, the depth is going to be to our advantage because these guys aren't trash. It's not a drastic drop-off.
What do you do tomorrow? Because they have a back-to-back and all these reserves playing today. I mean, you're going to have some other bodies in there at least tomorrow. Do you play your Luke Travers and your Amoni Bates tomorrow?
Heck yeah, man. Give me some T-tops.
See how they do it, huh?
Look, I don't care. I don't want to get injured in New York with Tom Thibodeau playing all his guys 500 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, these last 2 games, if like you said, if everything gets locked up today, it could just be like third stringers playing third stringers.
Pretty much, except for New York, because Tom Thibodeau won't rest his guys. I mean, I don't know what. I don't know what's with that guy. So okay, and then just my last thought or question is: do you think the first 70 games is who the Cavs are, as opposed to the past 10 games?
I think so. I do. I mean, I can see how after like game 70, if we're gonna use that number, like you get worn out and you get tired and mentally you let teams come back like the Bulls that shouldn't come back. And then you have a week and a half off to rest. You have the intensity of the playoffs and you see that team that won 15 games to open the season, come back. So I'm going with that.
Oh, I think that's fair. I do think it's more so that they are the team that we saw for the vast majority of this season. Certainly they've got to get the probability that the team was going to continue to shoot as well as they were shooting was not likely.
That being said, I think they still lead the league in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage.
That's amazing. And if they aren't, they're very close to the top of that. And it's just amazing what they accomplish. And it's been funny. I know they were having some funny talk about Evan Mobley and like, man, they got to get him out there, got to get him some PR guys to push for him to get Defensive Player of the Year. And I got to tell you, boy, had a good laugh of them talking about, well, what would he say? And who would they have as a spokesperson? And it was just cracking me up because he's so soft spoken. He lets his play do the talking. That's why I think he's so great for Cleveland.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, yeah, you're right. He's a blue collar guy, and that is who Cleveland embraces.
It definitely is. I mean, whether it's been the Nick Chubbs of the world, Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those guys, Joe Thomas. There's no fanfare. They just go and they do their job, and they do it well. And you love to see that. So I don't know. I will tell you this. If everything goes, if all the higher seeds win and it ends up being a second round series between the Celtics and the Knicks, that is going to be one to watch.
Yeah, but the Knicks have not beaten any of the top three teams, have they? They haven't beaten the Thunder, the Cavs, or the Celtics this year.
No. Nope. But they play tough. They've battled injuries, and they will even if they don't win, they will wear out Boston.
That's true.
They can do it, and Boston, there's no locks there. If Orlando is the 7th seed, I think Boston has the talent is so much better on Boston's roster than Orlando. But Orlando is well coached, and they know how to muck up a game. We've seen it. We've witnessed it firsthand. So it's not going to be a walk in the park for the Celtics.
You bring up a good point, too. That's another benefit of having the number 1 seed is the number 2 seed has the tougher matchup, and even if they win, get worn down maybe a little bit more.
That would be fantastic. I mean, I watched Kristaps Porzingis dropping threes from like the logo. I'm like, what is this guy? What is he doing?
Yeah.
It's a cheat code. And what is going on in the NBA? First, you see Taylor Jenkins fired. You're like, huh? And then Denver goes and fires Malone and the GM.
You got me. I think maybe it's our society and our lack of attention span. Like, there's no patience anymore at all with anything in this world. So,
yeah, I just don't even understand the timing. I don't even understand the timing of this.
It's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. Wow. I mean, it's one thing to fire somebody in like mid-season, like a la David Blatt.
Right.
But to wait this long?
Yeah.
If there were these problems that boiled over, you mean to tell me that now, with a week to go in the regular season on the cusp of the playoffs, now's the time to make the change?
And you're the number 4 seed. I mean, you've got a great record. They've had a lot of success this season.
And they've got arguably the best player in the game. Jokic is so daggone good.
Right.
And you look and you're, how is this guy this good? It almost makes you go, boy, this is you know what? I'm going to be like him. I'm going to be he's got a dad bod. If I was that much taller and had a dad bod, I'd be great.
You'd be right there, huh? That's it. That's all you're missing is the height. That's it.
That's exactly what it is, Mike. You've hit the nail on the head. All right. So let's move along here. This afternoon, talk a little Gardo's baseball. I actually need to change this up because we're no longer for the land. Apparently we're guards ball. But what exactly is guards ball? Because from what I've seen, it's bad hitting, terrible fielding, and bad pitching.
Yeah, and you still have a 500 record though, and are only a game out of first place. So I'll take it.
Yes, I will definitely take it. But there are some. Wow, did you think after the home opener win, a walk-off win on a base on balls issued by former Cleveland Indian Mike Clevenger, that it could get any crazier when yesterday the White Sox player Tauchman pulls up lame with a pulled hamstring as he's rounding third, heading to home to tie the game and send it and the inning wasn't over at that point on Emmanuel Clase.
I think we're lucky we're playing the White Sox, and the White Sox are proving to be just as bad this year as they were last year. So definitely got lucky, but took care of business 3-0 against the White Sox. So I'll take it. I mean, well, think about it too. So they opened the season yet again on the road for 9 games. They're the only team to not play at home for their first 9 games. That's tough. You go out west. You play 2 of the best teams right now in the league, in the Padres and the Angels. So you had tough road matchups. So it really wasn't surprising to me that they came back 3-6. But then you come back and you take care of business at home, in weird ways, but you win them. So now you're back at 6-6, and you still have played 6 more road games than home games, and you're still 6-6. So overall, I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of alarms that are going off and things that I am seeing that have me worried about what the rest of the season has in store for us and has in store for the Guardians. Certainly the errors are uncharacteristic. We're seeing quite a few from Jose Ramirez, and that's just wow. What do you make of the early season struggles in the field?
First of all, adjusting to some new fielders.
Okay.
So we got a new second baseman, a new first baseman. Right. Number 2, cold weather. I think that probably has something to do with it, an early season. So I think they'll get it together. We didn't see it last year, but I think that's probably more for the norm, is struggling early in the season, especially when you're playing in cold weather cities. Likely, I know the West, Kansas City was actually warm where they played, and then they played some West Coast games where it's warmer, but come back to Cleveland. I think that's more normal. I think they'll get it worked out.
Okay, so that's not as big of a concern there. The struggles at the plate.
Yeah. They're so hitting with runners in scoring position. Yes, that's been an issue, but they're actually mashing the ball. You've got Ramirez and Manzardo with 4 home runs each, which I think ranks in the top, I think tied for 3rd or something. I mean, super early, so there's not a lot of numbers for that. But they've hit 14 home runs in 12 games right now, which is, if I'm looking right, that's 12th overall in all of baseball. So they're top 50% in that. So I like seeing that early in the season when it's cold weather. I imagine that's only going to increase as the weather heats up. So I like to see that. We have a lot of young players too. So
right, that can be good and bad. Last year, I feel like we struck lightning in a bottle, and every move that they made worked. Whichever guy they brought up from the minors came in and suddenly had some kind of a stretch.
Yeah,
it worked out beautifully. The starting pitching is okay. Low. I mean, today it was today Allen, or I'm looking here. I apologize. It was Williams.
Yeah.
Williams. It was Williams.
Yep.
And the first inning, they give up a run on bad defensive catcher Bo Naylor.
So I didn't see the first inning. What happened there?
Base hit, and then let's see. Did they say? I think there were 2 pass balls. I don't know if they were pass balls or wild pitches. But I feel like Naylor's it doesn't do a very good job behind the plate. Defensively, he doesn't call a good game, and he doesn't hit. He does not hit worth squat.
So what's our other catching option?
I think we talked about it with the fellas. We talked about it with Taven and Nate. I'd like to see Cooper Ingle.
Okay.
And maybe get up here. I mean, if I look at it, let's see. I was talking to my buddy about this. My buddy Tommy. We were talking about the batting percentages. Okay, Austin Hedges. His best season, his best batting average was 2018 for the Padres. He hit 231. He's a career 186 hitter.
Okay.
All right. Bo Naylor in 2000, a much shorter sample size, but in 2023, he hit 237. For his career, he's hitting 208. It's
Okay.
not that much better. And for that minimal of a difference, I want someone who can call a good game and is a better defensive catcher.
So you wouldn't give Bo Naylor a chance to grow and develop because he's still young. What is this, his third season, I believe, right?
This will be his third full season.
Okay.
I
I mean, it's early. It's April. I mean, if
Oh.
we took Carlos Santana, his stats in April, he never would have been a starter.
Oh my goodness. I just
I think you got to ride with him longer, at
oh.
least through June, and then we'll see. Then we'll have the conversation.
Well, okay. So to quote my grandfather, Mike, he said, "Ethan, do you know why I'm not a doctor?" Why is that, Grandpa? I don't have a lot of patience. Exactly. So I guess I fall into that category. I've seen enough. I am frazzled with that.
So you would have fired Malone too. You have no patience. He had one bad week, and you're done with Malone and Bo Naylor.
It's quite possible. I think I think with the Malone thing, I would have seen all these other things coming, and
You would have fired him weeks ago.
Yes, see, you've nailed it. Or we would have had an intervention, or we would have figured out what the problem was and dealt with it. I just don't know what you can do for Bo Naylor. As you said, he's young, he's got to have time. But these are critical situations where he can't call a good game, and our pitchers are getting smacked around. I don't know.
I mean,
that's probably the biggest issue.
Yeah. I would like to hear what the coaches think of him calling a game too. I don't know that much to be able to judge how a catcher, just by watching it, to judge how a catcher calls a game.
Well, last year, we've seen it in the past. There are certain pitchers that have certain catchers. Wasn't Bieber always with Hedgie?
I think so. Yeah.
So, I mean, it speaks to it. I'm a little concerned about Bibee. He looked okay in his first start. His second, not so much. I hope he can find it. This is I don't know. It's very early. Like you said, at 6-6, I'll take it. If someone said, "Hey, you're going to come out of this first 12 at 6-6 with all of this going on," I guess I'd be all right with it.
Yeah.
So you have to look at it in that perspective and say, okay, it's the beginning of the season. Let's see if we can get through some of these bumps in the road.
Do we have to mention Class A?
Yeah.
Bumps in the road.
What is it? I think that Andre Knott was talking about it today, or maybe it was Rizzo when they were talking to him. They were saying it's not the pitching and the throw. It's from the neck up.
Just not throwing the right pitches at the right time.
I think so. They were mentioning that maybe it was last year or the year before he got touched up a little bit at the beginning of the season. They said, you're coming in, you're throwing this. They know that you need to mix in some other pitches. So there's kind of the discussion about the catcher and what they're calling.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hitters are saying we cannot let him get ahead of us. And this is not me having an epiphany or being brilliant. This is, in fact, taking from what other analysts, what Andre Knott said and discussed. Basically, the hitters are going up there and they said, we're not going to let you get ahead of us, because if we let you get ahead of us and get 2 strikes, we're hosed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go after pitches early. So if he's going up there and he's throwing fastballs that they know are going to be in the strike zone, all they have to do is make a little bit of contact.
Yeah.
And so they've got to work on something. And I'm glad. I hope that he doesn't fall down that path that many closers fall down, where they lose it and can never find it again.
Yeah, no, I agree. Luckily, I mean, he's had such success, and he's been a closer for 3 years now, long enough time that I think he's proven he can deal with adversity. He's just having a lot earlier this year than he's had in the past. But I mean, was it 2 years ago he led the league in saves and blown saves? So he's had his fair share of blown saves. So hopefully he's mentally strong enough to work through it.
I sure hope so. The playoffs were, especially the series against the Yankees, was tough last year.
Yeah.
The Tigers, he gave up a big one there in that one as well.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's better to have these struggles now. He was so good in the regular season last year, and it was so striking how much he struggled that maybe not having like this, that we're showering him with perfection, throughout the season, maybe that'll in the end be better for him when the playoffs come. I don't know. I'm looking on the bright side here.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I mean, so let's see, what is the week that is coming up? It's going to be filled with the Cavs got 2 more games left after tonight. The Guardians, what do we have? We have Kansas City at home to finish out the homestand.
Yep. And then Baltimore and Pittsburgh,
which you are going to.
We are going to 1 game in each city because it is our spring break. And we decided to take small little road trips, and we're going to go see the Guards.
That is going to be amazing. Now, so here's the question. Do you want to be at the game if the Guardians, let's say you had a choice of your games and whatever it is, do you want to see Paul Skeens because he's a great pitcher potentially, or do you want to avoid seeing him with a better likelihood that the Guardians might win?
I want to see him with the potential that we beat him, because then it'll be even sweeter that you see the best pitcher in the league and you're like, and we beat him. I mean, that's a tall task.
It is. I mean, he's not unbeatable. I think he went out, he got touched up in his last start.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went to plenty of sad games at the old Municipal Stadium against the men's club from the synagogue. We'd all go up there and we'd see them get their butts kicked by Roger Clemens. It was an annual tradition like no other.
But the one time they beat them, it's even sweeter then.
I'd have to look all those years of going to the Indians games, with the synagogue men's club. We'd go up. I don't know how many they actually won.
Yeah, well, they didn't win many back then.
No, they sure did not, and they wouldn't have gotten a stadium if you listen to Bill tomorrow.
That's why we gotta link it to the Browns.
Okay, Mike. Okay, well, there will be a lot going on, and we will be back in a couple of. You'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We will be getting ready for the draft. We will be right on the footsteps of that. We will have playoff basketball to talk about. Mike, what has you? Why don't we finish off the show tonight? Why don't you tell us what has you going nuclear?
So most of my going nuclears have to do with sports, but I'm gonna go non-sports this time, and I'll just say 3 words: the stock market. It's just depressing me lately. I just have to stop looking at it.
I have not looked at any of my retirement stuff because and what's more upsetting and disappointing about it is the why.
Yeah.
And what's led to it. That's the more troubling issue. If it was other things, you'd go, okay. If it's a global pandemic, okay, this is terrible. It's awful, whatever it is. But the way that it started, I concur. And that is a real life going nuclear worthy issue there, and I applaud that. Mine is, I'll keep it a little bit lighter here. But what has me going nuclear this week is the crappiness of basketball officials and their ability to make correct calls and not screw up a game. And use replay sometimes and not use it other times. And then they send out a lousy 2-minute report, and it does you absolutely no good other than to make you pissed off at the end of the day. The game against Sacramento for the Cavs was an absolute travesty, the terrible calls there. And then the fact that they rescinded the technical against Max Strus. I think they made that technical shot. That's 1 point. That makes a difference. You missed the call by Levine when the shot clock expired. That's another 2 points.
Yeah, then review it. That's why you have a review.
Right, and the excuse, it was a lot, the ball, we would have had, I don't even understand. This is nonsense. You stop everything else, and it's like, Mitchell gets fouled. but it's a stoppage of play, so we have to look at the replay. Oh, he stepped out of bounds.
Right. Yep.
That was a kick in the nuts, to be quite frank. Yeah. And then the next night, Luka got two technical fouls and got ejected. I don't know if they would have won the game against OKC, but they rescinded one of the technicals. He's not on the floor to play. You kicked him out, and then you rescinded a technical. So make it make sense to me, Mike.
Yeah, no, I watched that replay for the second technical, and I still have no idea what he did. He had to have said something, but I wonder what he said, because there was no gesture or anything that was
right. I mean, that sounds to me like, and I haven't read everything, but the point being, if you're later going back and rescinding it, and I know that makes a difference because it can, all the numbers add up if you can get suspended, et cetera, for a game. You take him out of the game and then you decide, oh, well, actually, nah, sorry, my bad. Well, that makes a big difference not having your best player or one of your best players out on the floor in a critical game like that. And it's just disappointing. And I will tell you that we've discussed it ad nauseum. Get me the automated strike zone and the robot umpires.
Oh, please. Yes, please.
It's horrible. I watch these things and it's nauseating knowing that they can get it right.
Yeah.
And it can be consistent, yet they're not doing it. So refereeing, umpiring, lack of the proper use of technology has me going nuCLEar. So I think I've said enough, Mike.
You and me both.
Exactly. All right. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in, and wanted to thank again Jacob for joining us earlier, giving us his mock draft. And we will be back. Please follow on YouTube, on Twitter, Facebook, etc. Follow all of the Fanatical Elves Network's programs. You can find all of their podcasts on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Like, subscribe, download, check us out as we want to bring you great content, great programming here. So for Mike Rasinski, I'm Ethan Greenberg, and you have been tuned in to Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land.